Welcome to the Investing Bros. There is one man who is capturing the media's attention, certainly capturing my attention, and we're going to get into exactly why the Federal Reserve Governor Waller, Christopher Waller, is kind of making his rounds around crypto media. And we're going to be checking in on exactly what his words were and what part of our bags may be pumping or dumping. We're going to be talking about that in this episode. I am T. Sherman. You are locked in with the Investing Bros. Thank you so much for watching. Let's take a look at the crypto bubbles today. I'm actually on the 100 to 200 cap because AGIX, which is a long-term hodl for me, is up 20%. Now, World Token also up 36%. And you've got some other ones that are doing pretty well this morning. But if we go to the top 100, you can see here that Render's doing really well. Sats continues its move higher, and then TAO and Arweave both up more than 10% on the day. Very nice. You can't see it behind me, but Beam is actually down 6.7, and VET does continue to get a bit higher here, up 5.5%. XRP up 3.8%. So those are some names of note. I've got the AGIX chart pulled up here because this one is something that I'm excited about. We've got a lot of folks in the community here at the Investing Bros who are actually ADA fans, and AGIX, the AI coin, is famously, on Cardano. So very, very cool for the Cardano community to get a bid in one of the bigger, utility projects here for Cardano. All right, let's take a look at it here, and let's see if we can't pull out a little bit of info that might give us some information on where AGIX is headed next. I'm here on the daily chart, and you can see AGIX has pushed into the second wave. It's already pushed into the second wave here from ALGO signals and overlays, which signaling a reversal, has pushed through there and has corrected back down, so this was actually up quite a bit more today on the daily candle. Let's see, this bad boy was up 35%, call it. Man, that's really nice. That's a nice move. So I'm trying to see what level it broke through here. 32 cents was kind of that level it needed to break through. Got it and shot up to the upside. Guys, unfortunately, this was not on my radar when I was doing my research this morning. So let me know in the chat, is there any kind of news as to why this is happening? I've got a lot of news prepared around the remarks from Fed Governor Christopher Waller. But as far as AGIX, it's kind of a mystery to me. This may have been a technical breakout, although there's nothing really jumping out to me saying that there's too much going on here. On the daily, we did get past the equilibrium zone here on ALGO, which is something that traders will be paying attention to. But ultimately, yeah, I don't see anything really saying technical break. I mean, could be kind of a little bit of a head and shoulders here. That would be a little bit of a stretch in my opinion, but yeah, very, very exciting for AGIX. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Bitcoin. Now, of course, yesterday we saw that Bitcoin was hitting all-time highs. All-time highs. It's true. This is Ethereum. All-time highs against the Japanese yen, right? So, of course, that was very exciting. That's how I opened the show with a little bit of a prank. A little bit of a prank on the bros. But as you can see here, Bitcoin not in all-time highs as relative to the US dollar. But let's take a look at what it has been doing on the daily chart. So it's a whole lot of steady sideways and up movement for Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's current candle has not been able to get past what wicked up to 52.8 yesterday, very close to 52.90. And we may not see that today. But this does start to signal to me something that I've been saying for a while, right? Which is this could be the start of a little mini alt season. And we're certainly seeing it for some coins, right? AGIX getting a bid, Render, Sats, AR. I mean, Arweave, I would say, is kind of, to me, because these three, Sats, Render, and Tau, these three have been pumping. Whereas the Graph and Arweave have not, I haven't really seen them pump all that much. Let me know in the chat what's going on here. We also saw a huge pop for VET, which has been kind of a dormant coin for a while. So is this kind of the beginnings of what could be a mini alt season? And I think it could be, because we saw the rotation not just in Bitcoin moving higher, we also saw a rotation into Ethereum moving higher, and that is usually an indication that a mini alt season is coming, and we are certainly seeing it at least on the bubbles. So that is really, really cool. Let's take a look at Cardano this morning. I know Tim just put out a price prediction video, a price analysis video, that could be very, very good if some of the stuff that he was talking about in that video comes to fruition. So let's take a look here, though. Cardano, not doing a whole lot. It's got a nice money flow here from ALGO, so that's pretty good. We did just get a reversal delta up here, a little bit of candy on the wrong side, but hey, it is starting to get into that oversold zone here, I would say. So I'm sorry, overbought zone here for Cardano. So I would say probably going to see a pullback here for Cardano, at least going off of the technicals. However, Cardano is one of those coins that you got to be careful, because once it starts going, it doesn't stop, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of a trade, especially without a stop loss. So just be careful, but I do think that Cardano's got some time yet before we're going to see that face melting move for it. And as of right now, I think I'm pretty compelled and confident to believe that a reversal is likely, and probably going to come back down and test 56 and just kind of make some sideways movement, like Cardano is so good at. We'll see. Love me some Cardano, but it is good at disappointing, right? Until it's not. And then people who have been hodling and have been patient with Cardano are very, very well rewarded. Let's take a look at Matic here. We're making our rounds. Matic finally getting a nice little bit higher here. It's been in this range, and I would like to see it get up above and close a daily candle over 94 cents. Even 95 cents would be a little bit more of a psychological level there. That would be nice. Yeah, because there's some heavy resistance right in here. You also got these highs back here around 94, 95 cents. So if we can push up here, let me draw a little bit of a line of kind of what I'm looking at. Get up above 95 cents here for Matic. This could be a very bullish move if we could get that. Just get up there, boom, boom, come back and test it, and then we're off to the races there for Matic, I'd say. But as of now, there's still a pretty good possibility that we just kind of get rejected and make a move lower and test for lows, right? Probably find some lows somewhere around here, maybe around here at 81, or here at 87 or 81, and then make another run. And probably at that point, are able to push through that 95-cent mark. We've done some TA on a couple of different altcoins here, but none is as exciting, at least on my list here, as AGIX. AGIX is doing exactly what we want Cardano and Matic to do, pushing higher faster. Let's take a look at Kaspa really quickly. So Kaspa has gotten it back into this zone that I really wanted it to get back into. So I'm happy. I'm happy with Kaspa. It's been bullish. It's really kind of knocking on the door of the all-time highs for the coin, right? Getting back above 15 cents, 15.5, getting above that is all-time highs for Kaspa, right? So right now, I'm really happy with where it is. It's getting up to these levels, finding a nice bench to park out at, have a sandwich, drink a soda, just get, maybe not a soda, drink a Gatorade, after this long marathon, kind of power back up, get the nutrition, get the fuel that it needs to make that next leg higher. I'm happy looking at Kaspa here. Do I buy more? No, I'm not buying more Kaspa here. If there was a dip, I might take a look at buying some more Kaspa here, but my Kaspa bags are probably overexposed at this point. Now, that may not be the same for you, and if it isn't, if you have zero Kaspa exposure, Kaspa is one of the most bullish coins that exist right now. It's not just me saying that. It's pretty much every YouTube channel, every analyst, right, that does anything with crypto is very bullish on Kaspa. Even seeing a couple people in here in the chat with some Kaspa in their profile picture for YouTube. Crypto Ninja said, watching ADA go up is like watching paint dry in the rain. Well, that would actually be kind of interesting to see paint dry in the rain. But I see what you're saying there. And you're a little bit of an ADA hater. And I'm have to say, step off, son. Kaspa's great, but you don't have to throw shade at ADA. Overall, though, guys, this is pretty healthy. I think if we do get a pullback and you don't have any exposure to Kaspa, I would get some, right? And you can do that. There's actually a link in the description of this video where you can actually support the channel by setting up your Kaspa wallet in Uphold. So Uphold, look for the link for Uphold in the links in the links down in the description. You support the channel, so that's great. Sideways move for Kaspa. probably going to push higher from here, but may get a nice little test lower, probably down here to 12.6, 12.5 before it pumps higher. Now, if Bitcoin just shoots off and Ethereum follows right behind it, then there could be no test lower and we're just off to the races, getting back above 5.5 and then forming that more than likely as support and probably not going too much further below that, less an event, meaning if there's an event, then everything I just said is invalidated. But just going off the technicals in a vacuum, I think that's probably a pretty likely outcome, a pretty likely scenario. Just trying to cruise through here, see if there's any other assets that are wanting to grab my attention. Let's take a look at the Dixie here, because the Dixie has, Tim and I, towards the end of our 3 p.m. video yesterday, live stream, we kind of noticed that the Dixie is in an uptrending, in an ascending wedge, which is usually bearish, and that's good. This is a chart that we want to go down. When this goes down, Bitcoin goes up, right? So that's good. Now, what I'll actually say is that usually that's true. However, right now, we've seen the Dixie go up since December 29th, Friday, December 29th to today. The Dixie has gone up to test this 104 level, right? If we go and we look at Bitcoin since December 28th, oh, yeah, so I'm going to be way more zoomed in. Now, was it December? How is it that zoomed in? Hold on a second here, guys. Hold on a second. I must have been really zoomed out. Yes, I am very zoomed out on this chart. Okay, so going back to December 28th. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the full analysis here, guys. We might as well, right? This is a technical analyst. This is supposed to be a news show, and I'm going to get to the news, but I'm kind of geeking out here with the technical analysis, and I'm loving it. And I hope you are too. If you are, smash the like button. We're a little bit of crazy. December 29th. Let's call it right here. So in the same time, Bitcoin has obviously been up and to the right. That's not December 29th. It was close, though. Goodness gracious. Come on now. Come on. There we go. Goodness gracious. Since December 27th. All right, that's close enough. 240% to the upside, right? So there's no denying that this historic correlation between the Dixie and Bitcoin right now is taking a pause, right? It is no longer, it has been invalidated. It is no longer valid, at least for this moment. And I think that has pretty much everything to do with the ETFs, with those magic ETFs, right? That are bringing a lot of bullish enthusiasm into the market. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. So what I would say, though, is kind of a question is like, so if it's invalidated, if that inverse correlation is invalidated of the Dixie to Bitcoin, what happens when these two bearish patterns break out? You see the ascending wedge. This, I believe, has a 70% likelihood of breaking lower, right? Which could lead to some buildup of momentum and actually a push back down below 100. That's wishful thinking. I think more than likely this just finds some support and just kind of finds its way into another range to trade on. However, there's also this head and shoulders here. You can kind of see it. And this would also be a pretty bearish breakout as well for the Dixie. But, if Bitcoin and the Dixie are becoming correlated, not inversely correlated, then what happens? I don't know. You tell me. I think, though, that Bitcoin just keeps going up. And I think that the Dixie correcting is still bullish for Bitcoin. I just think both are bullish for Bitcoin because it doesn't care about the Dixie right now. That's kind of my take, my overall take. All right, Coinbase. So Coinbase, really quick, we're going to get to a story on Coinbase, so I'll go ahead and have this chart up, and we can come back to this in just a second. But before we get into the news, here at the halfway mark of the video, I got to give myself a pat on the back. I like to do some TA. We got a lot of TA in today. We did Cardano, AGIX, Matic, Bitcoin, tiny little bit of Ethereum, wouldn't call that TA. And then we're going to do some coin, and we did some Dixie at length. So go ahead and smash that like button if you are enjoying this. If you're getting a little bit of alpha here on the East Coast, it is 9:15 a.m. So I'll get up early, do all this research to bring it to you all, and I absolutely love doing it. Before we get into the news, we've got our last folks who went ahead and followed on the brand new Investing Bros Instagram. And so live, I'm going to go ahead and follow them. If you see your name here, throw a big holler in the chat in celebration here. It's a lot of fun. So there you go. We now have 34 followers on Instagram in just 24 hours, I think it is. So very, very quick growth for our Instagram. We love it. And we've got a new post up here. Oop. You got to go to the Instagram to go check that out. So go check it out. Make sure you're following the right one, though, Investing Bros Official. There are a couple fake ones already, so go ahead and make sure you're clicking on the right one. Bitcoin Magazine is breaking some news yesterday. We covered this on the stream. We weren't sure what to make of it. And it got some community notes that kind of explains everything. Elizabeth Warren signs a certificate to honor Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto with a ceremonial flag flying. Americans are forever grateful. So here's the catch with this one, though, because it is legit, it is real, but there's a catch. The community notes on X says it all. Anyone can purchase a flag that has flown over the U.S. Capitol. U.S. Republican Jim Cooper said his website, like those of other members of Congress, has a link to the flag program. Therefore, it doesn't mean that Elizabeth Warren has pivoted her views on Bitcoin. So just to kind of wrap all this up, anybody can do this. So senators pre-sign, essentially, or they authorize some office to sign for them these ceremonial flags. And so essentially, Elizabeth Warren is not pivoting on her Bitcoin position. But it is actually, there is some 4D chess going on here, which is this. Yesterday, we reported on two very problematic statements that were made by one, Gary Gensler, right? When he was coming out and saying some negative things about crypto, right? Saying, potentially that he's not, that, he issued no comment on essentially what's going to happen with Ethereum, right? The Ethereum ETF. And then we also heard from Fed Waller, who we're going to hear from here much more heavily in just a second, who, kind of said that banks shouldn't hold very much crypto, right? We're going to get into that. But here is what is going on here is Bitcoin Magazine. So we talk about manipulators. We talk about people manipulating the market, manipulating the media. But you have to realize that just because that's true, it doesn't mean that we, and I say our team, pro crypto, pro Bitcoin, doesn't also do a little bit of manipulation. Throw a one in chat if you disagree with me. Do you think that the crypto media has never tried to manipulate the market? I think that we have a smoking gun example of Bitcoin Magazine trying to manipulate the media market. Now, I would argue it's for good. It's for the ultimate good of the people, right? But they were clearly sitting on this. Bitcoin Magazine were sitting on this article, on this story, and they probably could have posted this at any time, but they chose to post it yesterday when the larger media landscape was kind of going against crypto, right? There was a little bit of a pounce against crypto to try to, ultimately, in my opinion, to try to convince money managers who are not Bitcoin friendly to become Bitcoin friendly. The regulators were coming out and saying, yeah, don't be Bitcoin friendly. Bitcoin's scary. It's used by drug traffickers. It's bad. And banks shouldn't have them, right? So Bitcoin Magazine comes out and says at the same time, well, that whole group of folks that are, the regulating class for crypto is actually, one of their major leaders is splitting ways with that group, and that's Senator Elizabeth Warren, right? So they were able to kind of, and I would use the word manipulate, right? Because they were waiting on this story. They're not just the press here. Here we have information, we release it. We have information, we release it. No, they were sitting on this story, waiting for the right moment because they probably anticipated a bit of a regulatory pounce. So hopefully I have painted a picture for you that makes sense. Let's see what the chat's saying. Drew XRP said, we appreciate you, T-Shroom. Let's see. IG followers going up exponentially. That's right. Thanks for the follow, said Peyton Steele. So Peyton Steele getting a follow there from the official Investing Bros Instagram. It's a lot of fun. The Kid Coman said, Coinbase too stupid to list Caspa. Well, not for long. And when it does, I think 15 cents will never be a price that you can buy Caspa at again. We'll see. Crypto Ninja said, yes, I own ADA, LOL. So kind of redeeming himself for that shade thrown on ADA. We'll see. Blackie Chan said, I'm in the same position with Atom and some dry powder I've been waiting to deploy. I scooped up Manta, Beam, Pyth a little while ago. Beam's got a good entry point right now. That could be some potentially good alpha there from Blackie Chan, kind of letting the chat in on some of the moves he's been making with his portfolio. Well, I told you we're going to talk about Christopher Waller. He is a U.S. Federal Reserve governor. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen at what he's got going on there. There he is. And I've got some details here to bring you all. He said, people often conjecture about cryptocurrency. Like Bitcoin may replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, Waller said at an event Thursday in the Bahamas. But he noted that most DeFi trading uses stablecoins, and 99% of the market value of those tokens is tied to the value of the dollar. So it is likely that any expansion of trading in the DeFi world will simply strengthen the dominant role of the dollar. That is a very interesting language coming from a Federal Reserve governor. Like, this is the kind of thing you might expect like somebody like Hester Pierce to say, right? Who's kind of a pro-crypto SEC commissioner, right? It might be something that you'd expect some analyst over at JP Morgan, right? Or BlackRock or just some, decrypt.co, right? Just this is a little bit crypto friendly. And it's coming right at the heels of another like little media frenzy, another little media pop that Waller's comments got yesterday, saying that banks shouldn't hold all that much crypto, right? So it's pretty interesting here, and I'd have to say that this is pretty bullish. I mean, he's trying to make the case that the dollar is going to be, perpetuated into the future, and that's something that he has a clear and known motivation to do. After all, he works at the dollar. He works at the Federal Reserve, right? So he's trying to draw the lines between the dollar, good, DeFi, inevitable, also good, right? And stable coins, good. And this comes at a time, right, where the U.S. Congress, right, the legislative branch of the United States, which is seen as kind of the financial hub of the world in New York, and also the hub of just like intellectual regulation and whatever the United States decides when it comes to stablecoins is probably going to in some way heavily influence every country's approach to crypto and stablecoins. And they haven't really issued too much regulatory clarity on crypto in general. But overall, stablecoins are kind of in the crosshairs right now of the U.S. legislature at the federal level. And so these comments are interesting because they seem to say, let's pump the brakes on any over-regulation because DeFi could actually be good for the dollar, and stablecoins are the number one types of coins used in DeFi. So very interesting from Fred Waller. He also said recent developments that have warned could threaten that status, have, if anything, strengthen it, at least so far, he said. So kind of reiterating what I just said. It's very interesting statements from Fed Waller. Could he potentially be becoming kind of a new champion, whether he decided to or not? Of course, people could be putting words in his mouth here, or he could be, talking from his actual heart, his own perspective, and his passion for a better financial future. I don't know. I do not know. But there's been a lot of chatter from the Federal Reserve in the last 2 months that we usually do not get. And it is the beginning of the year, so it kind of makes sense that they would be issuing a little bit more guidance, a little bit more of their own thoughts on what could happen this year in crypto, where crypto and the Federal Reserve converge. But I mean, we had Jerome Powell come out earlier, I believe it was late January, kind of gesturing to the fact that there weren't going to be cuts. But then also more recently, kind of, the Fed kind of saying that the USDC, CBDC, is very questionable, and right, that they haven't issued, their thoughts on it yet to Congress, but that Congress should pass a bill. It shouldn't be the Fed's role, right? So they're very loud right now. They're very outspoken, and it's very interesting. And the latest thing that we're hearing is from Fed Governor Waller, kind of coming out and saying DeFi, stablecoins, they're going to boost the dollar. Let's be careful with how we regulate it. And this is going to be heard by Congress. This is going to be heard by senators and congresspeople today on Capitol Hill as they're meeting with aides, meeting with lobbying groups to go ahead and start to put pen to paper on drafting and regulation for stablecoins specifically, it seems, are in the crosshairs, as I've said, but crypto in general, just kind of understanding and conceptualizing what crypto is and how it should and how it shouldn't be available and used freely by the American people. Now, where this also leads us is not to just general optimism in DeFi, but there's also a little bit of an interestingly, we're talking about media, we're talking about a media frenzy today, and I do think that there's a lot of opportunities being taken today, a lot of triggers being pulled. So what is another coin that's very near and dear to the Wall Street establishment, one that's kind of come to light as in that category quite recently, right? Not XRP necessarily. That's not what I'm thinking, right? But that might fall into that category. Let's see. So not a CBDC, right? Because those don't exist yet for the United States, and hopefully they never will. But what I'm thinking here is Avalanche. And Avalanche is actually coming out with a story today, right? And it is this. Avalanche Foundation unveils 180 million Avalanche rush for DeFi growth. Now, before we get into the details, and there are some details here, just think about the timing here. The same time that Fed Waller, someone who, when was the last time you heard any Fed talk about DeFi or stablecoins, and then all in one day in the Bahamas yesterday, you get all of these comments, all these juicy comments basically saying stablecoins good, DeFi good, don't overregulate them. And then the very next day, a coin, a project that we know is a darling of JP Morgan, has been said that JP Morgan is going to be using it and partnering with it. They come out with a huge push on DeFi growth. Okay, hopefully I'm connecting the dots for you guys. All roads seem to be leading to bullish for Avalanche, right? Maybe, I don't know about AVAX, the actual coin, but Avalanche definitely getting a little bit of, in my mind, a little bit, and I could be getting a little bit tinfoil here, but it does seem a little bit more than a coincidence that all this is happening at one time. Avalanche Rush Phase 2 to bring more incentives. The Rush initiative will deploy Aave and Curve, two high TVL DeFi protocols on Avalanche in the first step. So that is pretty big, integrating Avalanche with two of the biggest names in DeFi, Aave and Curve. Aave, we also know, is on Robinhood, right? So another darling of Wall Street to some extent, right? In this part, Aave and Curve users will receive AVAX, Avalanche's native token. Okay, rewards will be delivered over 3 months. The Avalanche Foundation gave Aave users 200 million AVAX and Curve users 7 million. More money will be granted in Phase 2. Now, there's a lot more details to this. You guys can go and do some further reading if you'd like. This one is from blockchainreporter.net, and the title is this. So you can go read the rest of this if you'd like. But the point here, guys, is that whenever there's a new technology like crypto that's integrated into whenever money is being revolutionized, right, there's going to be attempts from the most elite in the society, in the economy, to try to kingmake, right? Try to make the king, try to make the next leader. And a good example of this would be a lot of people would argue that Elon Musk was kind of made king of EVs, right? Now, I would say he did a lot of it out of his own power, his own will, and his own intelligence, but it's hard to deny a lot of the subsidies that his companies have gotten from the U.S. federal government over the years, right? Not a perfect one-to-one example, but I would say that there's a bit of king making, and I've seen a pattern of this for Avalanche. I hold a decent amount of Avalanche for this exact reason, because I do think that Avalanche and the AVAX are going to be very prominent in the future of DeFi, it seems, maybe even gaming and, everything else that a blockchain can do. There's a couple more details I wanted to bring to you. Avalanche Rush to drive DeFi enthusiasm with Aave and Curve integration. Director of the Avalanche Fund, Eamon Serrer, said Avalanche Rush will showcase Avalanche's potential and give users a dynamic community at the forefront of decentralized finance. The integration of Aave, Curve, and Avalanche promises to create an exciting cooperation that will attract DeFi enthusiasts. All this coming just a day after someone who never talks about DeFi is coming out and saying some very positive things about DeFi and stablecoins. I don't think it's a coincidence here. I'm not saying go out and buy, triple mortgage your home to be able to buy a bunch of AVAX, but I do think this is significant. Coinbase shares surge after it crushes Wall Street expectations. Yes, Coinbase. We said we're going to look at the charts. Let's do it. Markets are now open. It is 9:30. I'm going over time here by just a few minutes. Coinbase doing really, really well. It's throwing an indicator. You can see it is getting some rejection here off that first reversal wave. Can it push through? We'll see. This would be 2024 highs for Coinbase, I believe. Yes, so it kind of came into the year with a movement down and then got a 4 buy rating from ALGO, which is pretty heavy. You can get that ALGO. All these are paid indicators that you're seeing here. All these are paid overlays. And you can get that. There's a link in the description. You help support the channel because we're partnered with this indicator. And if you turn it off, you can't see it anymore, right? But you can buy it. You can turn it on for yourself and see some of the reasons why, some of the indications of why price is rejecting off certain levels. Now, there's a huge gap here. There's a lot of gaps here for Coinbase. Those gaps could potentially be filled at some later date. But right now, Coinbase definitely looking to put in what looks like a new all-time high for, sorry, not all-time high, a new high for 2024. It looks like, actually, if it closes this candle, no, it has. It has put in a new high for 2024. So that is very bullish for Coinbase. Let's see. Last story here. And then I've got one kind of sad story. Jupiter cancels Ripple XRP ETP investment after self-compliance inspection. So, people who've been following XRP much more closely probably know and are much more disappointed by this story. But there you go. I will point out on the same day, XRP is up 2.6%. There you go. Last story. Russian opposition leader Alexander Navalny has died in prison, state media. This is something you're going to be able to get the details about elsewhere, but it is a huge story, and geopolitically that is significant. Take it for what it is. We're not going to talk about it too much in depth here, obviously. BROZ, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going live. Tim and I are going to be going much deeper on the charts, going to be much deeper on some of these stories, and we're going to be having a lot of fun. Hope that you'll join us there. Noon today. I believe Tim is going to be putting out another video. He did not put one out this morning, so I think noon. I think he's liking that new slot. The video performed pretty well, and folks seem to really enjoy it. So noon might be that new slot time for those TA videos, and I like it. I like that. Let me know what you all think of this content. How can I do it better? Let me know in the comments, and let me know in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. T-Shroom out.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.